Today I'm going to be talking to you about vocal registers and passagios and those annoying voice breaks and fracks.
Hi, I'm going to just talk to you like off the cuff real quickly about vocal registers and passagio. So your vocal registers are kind of like the gears in a car. And you would start at the bottom of your range, wherever that is. I call it the bottom of the barrel. And so when you sing down low like that, it's called your chest voice. And the reason why it's called the chest voice is because that's where the majority of the resonance is. Down here. So everybody has to learn how low they can sing. And depending on what song that you're singing, you want to maybe bear down hard in your chest voice and maybe not, depending on where those notes lie within the framework of the song. So that's your chest voice. And then as you get around middle C, and these I'm speaking women's voices, you get to what I call the belting voice. It's like if I was to say, "Hey, Charlie, stop that." It's like musical theater, and you just belt out the song. And I especially like the musical theater song Annie. Tomorrow, tomorrow. That's your belting voice when you belt. And so you can only bring that, and I also call it the throat voice. You can only bring those notes up so far. And then you start straining, and your voice wants to switch gears. And so that's when you flip over to your head voice, and that's called the passaggio, or the break. Passaggio in Italian sounds to me like the word passage in English. So you're going from one passage to another. So you switch to your head voice. Now, what we all want to try to do when we're singing classical repertoire is you want to try to bring your head voice down. Hear that? So I'm cracking, and you're cracking, you're fracking, or the break comes in where you either have too much air, not enough air, and so that's the passaggio. And so what you want to try to do when you're singing a song, you want to try to make your passaggio not evident. So you want to make it smooth, a smooth transition from high to low or low to high, so that especially within a phrase, like you wouldn't go, "I went to the store." Sometimes in pop songs, like they'll be singing along and they're belting kind of like head voice, and then they flip up to this like high little floaty, airy falsetto sound. Some people, like in men, they refer to the head voice sometimes as falsetto because it sounds false. Then we go into our head voice. You have to get to know your own voice, and that's kind of like what I call the opera sound. I used to be able to sing a lot higher than I can right now, but you find the top of your range. Some people are fortunate enough to have and yet another register. So we have the chest voice, the belting voice, the head voice, and then we have this thing called a whistle register, which I cannot demonstrate because I wasn't born with one. So Ariana Grande, ELENA FLORES, one of my former students, and Mariah Carey, they all have a whistle register. Now, in between the chest, the belting, and the head, between the belting and the head voice, there's something called a blended tone or a mixed tone. So this is the D, this is D5, which is the D fourth line on the treble staff. So you can sing this note in pure head voice, or you can sing it in a blended, which is trying to bring where you can't get it out. So what you do is you take that opera sound, which resonates farther back in the throat, and you bring it a little bit brighter and forward. And so you do something that is more lyrical and lighter, and we call that a blended tone. So your passagios are where your voice wants to crack or break. How to make your passagios not evident is to either give more air or hold back on the air. Don't press too hard when you're going through your passaggio, or your voice will break and crack and frack for sure. So I hope this video has just been a little bit helpful on the registers of the voice and passagios.
Until next time, remember, only the brave sing.